Loyalty. It's not just a word, it's a bond, one that's stronger than any chain. It holds someone to you with unwavering commitment, without expectation. But what happens when you break the heart of a loyal man? What happens when the trust he so freely gave is shattered by betrayal? This question isn't just a philosophical one, it cuts deep into human nature. Today, let's explore what happens when a loyal heart is hurt and uncover the profound psychological transformations that follow. Once the trust of a loyal man is broken, it may never return to what it once was. The damage is often invisible, but deeply embedded. He doesn't seek revenge or lash out, he simply remembers quietly, deeply. And though he may forgive, that forgiveness does not mean he returns to the old ways. The relationship may continue, but something irrevocable has changed. He no longer gives his trust freely. Forgiveness is not a sign of weakness, it is a sign of wisdom. He forgives because he understands the power of letting go for his own peace of mind. But the emotional distance he now maintains will never be bridged in the same way. The true mind-blowing fact about human behavior is this: though the loyal man retreats and rebuilds, the scars of betrayal make him wiser. He becomes more selective about who he trusts, and that loyalty, once freely given, is now a guarded strength. A loyal man is like a pillar. His loyalty isn't something he offers lightly. It's built over time, through shared moments, understanding and trust. When he loves, he gives his all. Whether it's in friendship, love, or any form of relationship, he is the one who stands firm when the world crumbles. Loyalty is his strongest asset, his foundation. But what happens when this foundation is cracked, when the very core of his being is shaken by betrayal? How does he react? Let's explore that. When a loyal heart is wounded, it doesn't break in an instant. It cracks slowly, silently, and the pain reverberates through his soul. He doesn't shout, he doesn't fight, he retreats quietly into himself. When trust is broken, a loyal man experiences a profound transformation. His behavior shifts, and so does his perception of the world around him. Let's look at the fascinating psychological response. A loyal man doesn't react immediately. He takes time, often retreating into solitude. He begins to question, where did I go wrong? What was the moment I failed to see the truth? This silence is his way of processing the pain, of understanding what went wrong, and most importantly, of protecting himself from further emotional harm. He starts to build walls. These walls are not visible at first. He might still speak, still engage, but the warmth in his eyes begins to fade. The trust, once so easy to give, is now guarded, locked away. You see him less frequently, hear his voice less often. His emotional distance grows, and though he remains cordial, something inside him has changed. The loyal man who has been hurt doesn't let himself fall back into the same trap. He learns, he adapts, his boundaries become stronger than before. What once felt like a simple gesture of kindness now feels like an invitation for manipulation. He becomes cautious, and trust becomes something he gives, but only to a very select few. In his silence, he seeks solace in self-reliance. A loyal man doesn't cry out for attention or sympathy. Instead, he pulls away, finding strength in his own company. It's not that he doesn't need others, it's that he no longer wants to be vulnerable to the same pain. He rebuilds himself, brick by brick, and learns to depend only on himself for emotional stability. Over time, a loyal man may come to see the world differently. What once seemed black and white becomes a spectrum of gray. Betrayal teaches him a painful truth. Loyalty, while admirable, can also be a double-edged sword. He learns to value himself more, to set healthier boundaries, and to no longer accept the false promises of others. Once the trust of a loyal man is broken, the relationship may never return to what it once was. The damage is not always visible, but it is there, deeply embedded. He doesn't lash out, he doesn't seek revenge, but he remembers quietly and deeply. When he forgives, it's not because he's weak, it's because he understands the power of letting go for his own peace. But that forgiveness does not mean a return to the old ways. The emotional distance remains, and while he might still extend kindness, the depth of his trust is forever altered. What's truly mind-blowing about human behavior in this context is that even though a loyal man may retreat and rebuild himself, the scars of betrayal often lead him to become wiser. He becomes more selective in whom he trusts. He values himself more and no longer allows himself to be the victim of his own unwavering loyalty. Once you hurt a loyal man, he doesn't break, he evolves. He doesn't cry out in anger, he steps into a new chapter, a stronger version of himself, and you'll never know the depths of the scars he hides. For in the quiet of his soul, he has already learned to heal. If you've ever been betrayed by someone you trusted, or if you've witnessed the transformation of a loyal heart, share your thoughts in the comments below. Let's explore the complexities of human behavior together, and remember, loyalty is not a weakness but a strength.